Hi, Amy.
Hey, Kurt.
Here we are again for midweek update, and it's
Yeah.
just the two of us. Seth is still on vacation, and it's
Mm.
actually mid-morning that we're recording this, and that's a little unusual because usually we do it right after lunch or in the middle of the afternoon. But both you and I have mid-afternoon meetings today, and
Yeah.
your meeting is another one of the Get Acquainted groups.
Yes, I will be meeting with folks who live in the Chestnut neighborhood at Timbercrest. We will be out in the lawn. We'll be safely spaced. If it's raining, we'll be in touch and we can reschedule. But these get acquainted um, opportunities are really terrific. And I like naming them as get acquainted because what's happening is that everyone else is getting reacquainted with everyone else. It's not just the Amy show, which I'm glad. And so I'm learning so much about you, but so is everyone else. And so it's really quite wonderful. And there are still upcoming opportunities for people to sign up. If we need to make more, we can make more. So think of it as these little pop-up small groups of listening to each other, being together and telling each other stories.
We've thought about those or planned for those to be Zoom meetings primarily. So that's what's gone out through the newsletter.
Yeah.
But now you're having some of these in-person, um, safely distanced kind of things as well. So there would be possibilities for more of those as time goes on.
I believe so. And I think that the welcome committee, who have done such a marvelous job, would welcome folks organizing a few things on their own, always respecting the masking and the safe spacing and the comfort level of everyone. Small groups, so that we can do it in about an hour.
Yeah, and it really is important for the congregation to be thinking about it, not just in terms of finding out about you, but you finding out about them. Like that's a gift
Yeah,
that they can give to you as you get involved in the congregation. And then also, like you said, knowing each other a little bit better. People have been apart for so long; it's helpful to connect.
absolutely. What are
Good.
you up to this afternoon?
Well, the group that is the task team that's charged with talking about building use and reopening timing and all that is meeting again. We had said that we would definitely be in online worship, live stream only through the end of July. The building would be closed, but we're in that conversation again. That's not to suggest that we're going to take a turn in the road, but we need to visit kind of the next chunk of time and talk about are there ways that the building might be used? We know we've had Red Cross in here for the blood drive. Are there opportunities for people to make use of the grounds of the church? Maybe for what you were talking about, if you had a small group of people that wanted at a distance to get acquainted or that kind of thing. And then also, I think we need to be talking about or getting on board with the preschool opening plan. Um, and all of those things are just so much up in the air, but
Yeah.
it's good to have this ongoing conversation about it. So once we have that meeting, we will report back to the congregation kind of where we are in all of this. But I would say don't anticipate big changes, but rather kind of incremental attentiveness to where we're going. I don't feel really great about the trends anywhere, including around here, because there have been some now reported cases of COVID in North Manchester, and we hadn't really been in that space before. So
Yeah.
being cautious, being careful, being thoughtful, that's kind of our guiding principle.
Mhm. Yesterday you used two words. You used imaginative and creative. And I think that as we go forward, if we keep that in front of us, then we can step into this very strange time we're in with more of a sense of empowerment rather than just sort of survival adaptation. And this is a very creative congregation.
Yeah, I think that's a good reminder. We're trying to keep some continuity and familiarity, especially in worship. But yes, we're going to be thinking about um, creative kinds of things, new opportunities. Leaning into that week by week. An example would be, and this is just a small thing, but this coming Sunday, we want to start using that time right before the worship service starts to show some announcements on a series of slides. So rather than just seeing the black on white Manchester Church of the Brethren, the date and the service, there would be a couple of things to scroll through, and that way I can spend a little less time verbally announcing when we get into the worship service. It opens a little more space, but also it's a little easier to hold on to those bits of information if you can see them.
Yes, I think that will be a great change, and people can give us feedback.
And then the other thing is, upcoming a week from now, that would be August the 2nd, not this Sunday, but the next,
Mhm.
we're planning to have communion.
Yeah.
And you're going to work on some of that communion liturgy for that service. But another kind of opportunity, expression would be we're talking about opening up on the YouTube channel the comments section, which we've not done. Um, what that would allow, or what we hope to do with that, is invite people to just check in, to say who they are and where they are, so that as we think about communion and being together as the body, we can have a better sense of all these people that are in the body,
Mhm.
and you can know who else is watching at the same time, and not just watching, but who else is worshiping, who else is in that space with you. And I would look forward to that, because I'd like to know, who's with us in that space right then. So
Yeah. And
we'll,
people
we'll
can say hello. Maybe not whisper in the pew, but to say hello and to say hello back and to greet one another. Hmm.
I really, I really think so. So that, and then, looking on down the road, we'd like to have the organ. We'd like to have Alan play the organ sometime in worship. We're trying to figure out how to do that in terms of the technical aspect. We're talking with choir directors about, are there any possibilities for virtual choirs, or maybe some virtual hymns that we could see people's faces and have them participate in music? Just thinking about those kinds of possibilities on down the way.
Hmm.
Um, we have to, yeah, the creativity and imagination thing is challenging, but it's also this great opportunity to figure out new ways to be together.
Yes, yes. And I think that we do a good job of, again, the safety practices when we're together in the sanctuary space. And so we want to honor folks who aren't ready to step into the children's storytelling role, because that means being present, and that's all right. We're all on a different spectrum here, and we just want everyone to be safe, and but also participatory.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it, because I need to reach out again to people on the worship leader and children's stories lists and check in again, because some people said they were comfortable a couple months ago, and maybe things have changed
Yeah.
or shifted, or they want to think about it again. So I'm going to be doing that sometime soon, reaching out with those lists. I'm working on a new worship list for August and September. Been
Hmm.
doing it now 2 months at a time instead of 3 months. So I get that out, check in with people again about worship leading and children's story, and that allows us to kind of sort of revisit where people are in that. Because I think you're right. It's it's not just that some people are comfortable in that space and some people wouldn't, or some people feel at risk and some people don't, but those things keep changing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people can expect, who have been on those lists, to hear from me shortly, just to check in. It's not any expectation that that's changed, but just to check in.
Good.
And you want to talk a little bit about, you had Nurture Commission.
Yeah,
How was that?
yeah. And the Nurture Commission is really glad for all the ways that people are finding and creating ways to nurture themselves and nurture each other in this time, and that we're still doing the Nurture Nudge each week. So this week in the newsletter, the question was, where might the fruit of forgiveness grow and take shape in your life? This is for your own response and reflection. Where might the fruit of forgiveness grow and take shape in your life? Maybe take yourself out to your back patio or your deck with a cup of coffee or a glass of refreshing water, and ponder that. And I think that sometimes when we're moved to a point of forgiving ourselves or somebody else that we haven't been able to move to before, we may need a little support in taking that step. And so I know, Kurt, that you would be willing to help encourage someone there. I am ready to listen and help encourage. The act of forgiveness is really empowering. So thanks to the Nurture Commission for those nurture nudges.
I'm really glad you mentioned that nudge in particular. As I'm looking at worship themes for August and September. In September, I'm going to continue in the Gospel of Matthew for a little while. So I think early to mid-September, there are a couple of texts that are about forgiveness. We get into the chapter Matthew 18 that talks about reconciliation in the church, but then also that story at the end of that chapter where Peter asks how many times does he need to forgive? 7 times? And Jesus says, no, 77 times. And then there's that story about the parable of the unforgiving servant who, so all of that's coming up in terms of scripture. I would love if somebody is like planting their own seed of thinking about forgiveness now and how that's stirring in their lives. I would love to have a conversation if somebody had a story about that or a reflection about how that's moving. The timing would be wonderful to be thinking about that now in anticipation of perhaps sharing a story or offering a story that could be woven into a sermon or even that could stand alone. So those thoughts, conversations are really nice, not just nice, they're helpful to have along the way. And in this particular case, I could see a potential connecting point in terms of our own spiritual lives and growth and reflection, and maybe some way of sharing that more widely in the congregation for spiritual nurture and reflection.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd
Great.
be kind of fun. Sometimes, in normal times, I'll preach on something and somebody will come out after the worship service and they'll tell me a story that relates. And I say, where were you this week? That story was perfect. I would have been happy for you just to stand up there and give that testimony. So maybe that's another example of thinking in terms of creativity and imagination, offering some of those ideas that can plant some seeds now, and that image of fruit, right, that bear fruit in our own lives, but also maybe as a testimony or witness for the congregation. That'd be kind of fun if we could connect some of those dots.
Yep. Good.
Is that our list of things for today?
It is. Are we ready to bring us to a close?
Yeah, typically we have a song and then a prayer or a blessing. Seth's not here, but
oh my,
I brought my guitar. This is like, I'm thinking this may be my one opportunity to step into the musical space with the stylings of Kurt Borgman on the guitar. Or maybe not. Well, I did bring my special pick. This is my sister gave me this. It says I couldn't pick a better brother. She gave it to me for Christmas a couple years ago. And I brought a selection of music in case you'd want me to. I have, let me see, I'll just run through the songs and you tell me which one you think would be appropriate for today. I have Take Me Home Country Roads from Denver. And I have Teresa's Prayer. That could be a good one. Can't Help But Falling in Love with You. Closer Walk with Thee.
Oh goodness, yes. I think.
Listen to the Music, Brothers. I could play any of these songs.
I think that you have just offered a beautiful gift of something new, but let's wait for Seth to get back to do the guitar closing.
Yeah, I don't want to outshine him.
That's true. That's true.
I want him to feel like he's a place when he comes back.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
All right.
You're
Maybe
you're
another
so
time.
you're so capable, but you don't have to do everything.
I don't have to do. Thank you for that reminder. I don't have to do everything. All right. Well, how about this? How about you offer a blessing to send us on our way?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, with Jesus as our companion in solitude and in courage, may you allow the dark clouds to invite you to reflection and thoughtfulness, prayer and gratitude. May you throw back the curtains when the sun's rays invite you toward its warmth. May you smile, even if it's just to yourself in the mirror. And may you rest assured that you are loved and able to offer love.
Oh, amen. Thank you. All right. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.